Hi everyone, my name is Laura and this is my mock video lesson. So I'm going to be explaining how I would teach this rather than pretending to teach it because it's a stations activity and that is difficult to do without students being actually present. So for this lesson, the learning target is I can evaluate the hardships that faced the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War. And the do now is a compare and contrast of two pictures. So I would put these pictures up on the smartboard and give students 5 minutes to compare and contrast them. So what do you see in the first picture? What do you see in the second picture? So this is a picture of the Continental Army. This is a picture of the British Army. How are they similar and different? And what you should elicit from students is that the Continental Army looks much poorer than the British Army, which was a huge problem that the Continental Army faced. So to continue brainstorming on the ways that there might be hardships involved in war for the Continental Army is the next slide, which would take the place of the modeling portion. So framed by the question, what hardships face the Continental Army, would put these up on the smartboard. First, this is a picture of Washington at Valley Forge, and this is a primary source from a letter from William Wilcox to Alexander Hamilton. It says, the men are stealing vegetables and are in a state of mutiny over their lack of even the barest necessities like bowls for eating their food. So you show this to students and lead them in analyzing what this could mean for the various hardships that the Continental Army was facing. So one of the questions asked on the bottom is, why would men be stealing food? And what do you see in this picture? How do the men look? So all these are questions you would ask students to get them to brainstorm on how there could be possible hardships for the Continental Army. So once you have students brainstorming, then I would have them listen to a song from Hamilton the musical, from Hamilton, an American musical. It is an edited version of a song that has some expletives in it, but they're edited out. So it's okay to have your students listen to, and you can give students the lyrics if they're more visual or if they happen to be visual learners. So the song is about the situation of the Continental Army during the American Revolution, and I framed the stations around lyrics in the song. So have students listen to that, have them analyze the lyrics together in pairs. So have it be a turn and talk. What did you see in this? What did you hear in this song? And then have students break into groups of 5 or 6 for a stations activity. So students would rotate around the room to 5 stations. At each station, there are pictures and primary sources. So students can choose which of the resources they would like to look at and analyze. And there are question cards, and they would pick which questions they would like to answer. They're all of varying levels. Some are creating, some are evaluating, analyzing, so that they can get their higher order thinking skills going using a source that speaks to their strengths. So for instance, this is station number 1, which is called We Have Resorted to Eating Our Horses, Trying Times at Valley Forge. And this is how the stations would be set up. So there are 2 pictures, which are pictures of Valley Forge. The first is George Washington at Valley Forge. This is George Washington and Lafayette at Valley Forge. And these paragraphs over here are letters from George Washington dated February 7, 1778, describing hardships at Valley Forge. So students would either read the sources or look at the pictures and then answer one of several questions. So for instance, this would be the question card for Station 1, which is examine the paintings of Washington at Valley Forge, describe what the conditions soldiers faced were like, or evaluate the conditions at Valley Forge, including harsh winters and lack of food. What do you think the the morale was like and why. So there are other questions. I will include all the stations and all of the questions in a PowerPoint that I will link below. Then students will be given an ample amount of time at each station, maybe 7 minutes, and then they will move on to the next station. So this is station 2, just called They Only Take British Money, Patriots versus Loyalists. So these are pictures of patriots mobbing loyalists and tarring and feathering them. And this is an excerpt from a pamphlet by Samuel Seabury, who was an ardent loyalist. So students would either analyze a picture or analyze a primary source and then answer these questions. They could pick one of them, whichever one they feel they could be the most successful at. So evaluate the justifications for the loyalist position. Are they convincing? Why or why not? Examine the images in the station. Describe and analyze the relationship between loyalists and patriots during the Revolutionary era, and take a close look at the first image. So the etching of the Boston Tea Party in the background of the tarring and feathering of loyalists. Why did the artist choose to put those images together? Great. The next station is Outrun, Outlast, Hit 'em Quick, Get Out Fast, Continental Army Battle Strategy. And again, it's pictures and primary sources, and students would be asked to analyze the pictures or analyze the sources and then answer a question. While students are doing this, I would walk around and facilitate. So probe their thinking, answer questions, make sure everyone's on task. Offer help where help is needed. The next station is Washington Cannot Be Left Alone to His Devices, Descend in Washington's Army, and it shows Charles Lee, who's a character in the song, so they'll have some basis for understanding this, and an excerpt from the pamphlet that he wrote. And this is the question card for Station 4. Students have 3 choices. Finally, there is Heroes of the Revolution, Mulligan, Lafayette, Hamilton, and Lawrence, who I consider to be lesser known heroes of the Revolution, except perhaps Hamilton and Lafayette. Still not as well known as George Washington, which is why I included them. And the station card for Station 5, the question card for Station 5. So students would go around the class and they would have time to go to all stations, and then they would analyze the pictures, answer the questions, and then share out as a group. While students are going around, students would fill out a graphic organizer like this, boxes to help them organize their thoughts for each of the stations. This one has 4, but on the back they would include the 5th one. So that is my lesson, a stations lesson for the American Revolution, or the hardships the Continental Army faced during the American Revolution. I will include the PowerPoint below so you can see what it would actually look like. Thank you.